If you want to have a tiny little campfire, then you need this. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I know everyone loves sitting around a fire outside. It's like a little bit of wilderness brought home. Now, this is by Radiate, and if you have checked out my video from years ago, they actually make this tin that's like a campfire. Now, what I noticed here is that they have this other offering, which is a campfire in a tiny little tin. I'll tell you what, I've had candles bigger than this. This thing is pretty small. It's only maybe 6 inches in diameter here, but what you get here is a little tiny tin that will turn itself into a campfire. I mean, it's not just a campfire for ambiance. You can potentially roast marshmallows over this, cook over it if you really needed to, but it's really meant to just kind of provide you that outdoor experience, but say in an urban environment. Now, I would say you don't have to be in an urban environment, but if you live in a condo or townhouse, if you live in an apartment downtown, you have a little balcony that you can sit out on, you can put this on the table, light it up. This little tin means it's reusable, so once you start it up, you can actually reuse it again. And the thing about this is they put in some sort of like egg crate carton. I think this is like cardboard, and then I don't know if it's paraffin wax, but some type of wax in there, and you just light this up. It kind of works like a wick, and then this thing really starts going. Once it heats up the wax and it gets melty on us, the flame really starts cooking on this little bad boy. So it definitely puts out a decent amount of light and heat. Now, the thing is, when you're done with this and you want to save it, you don't have to wait for the whole thing to burn out, because I think this thing will burn for quite a while. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing burns for an hour or two. So I know that you want to stop hearing me talk about this and light this thing up. So let's do it. All right, so let's get this campfire going here. I'm just gonna uncap it, and I have a lighter here. Now, I think one of the things that you're gonna have to do here is actually kind of melt that wax. So I don't think it's gonna just take the flame in a heartbeat, and then it'll take a little while for it to melt and start to burn like a wick. And you can probably start it on a couple of these other areas too, otherwise it will spread. But just to move this sucker along as quickly as possible. Okay, I got 3 edges of that wick burning now. It's a paper wick, not John wick. So let it start getting up to speed. Alright, it looks like the entire wick is now burning, which is actually pretty nice. So just a couple minutes in, and the thing is putting out a decent amount of flame. You can actually feel it from here. So while you wouldn't use this to be warm, it actually wouldn't be bad for a little survival fire. You know, if in an emergency you had to start a fire, I'd rather have my hands around here than sticking in ice water. And it's putting out a pretty decent flame, probably about 4 or 5 inches tall at the moment. It is smoking just a little bit out of the top. So there it's burning. As you can see, it's a pretty decent little flame. I wouldn't mind that sitting in the middle of the table. Kind of a little fire table, a little ambiance. Certainly brighter, bigger, puts out more heat than a candle. And actually would probably put out a decent amount of light. So kind of here in the morning, it's still not super bright out, but it's actually putting out a decent amount of light. And as you can see here, with this whole wick burning, now you get a pretty big surface area that's creating flame. So as opposed to kind of the small single string of a candle producing the flame, you have this really big paper X there that is all burning. And like I said, I think this thing will burn for a while, so you don't have to worry about it running out. But if you want to save it for later, I think all you have to do is you take your little lid here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it on there, and this thing is out. So now I can take this off and light it up and reuse it again. So pretty cool. Something I can take with me on my next trip when I want convenient campfire. So if you want to pick this up, I think it's pretty cool, pretty novel, pretty entertaining, pretty serene and peaceful as well. I'll put a link to it in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.
We can discover more and explore so much deeper.